It's Thursday, February 19th, 2015. From Studio E at Michigan State University, it's the Beaumont Bulletin.
Good evening. I'm Brian Brown.
And I'm Katie Phillipson, and here are tonight's top stories.
Are you afraid of the food growing in your fridge? Well, we here at the Bulletin advise taking care of it at the latest before spring break. 2 Australian men have come forth with a new contender for world's oldest hamburger. The 20-year-old McDonald's Quarter Pounder with cheese made a debut on Australian television Monday, ousting the previous 15-year-old winner.
It even looks the same.
Wonder if it'll last longer than a Twinkie. Rolling Stone magazine has released their list ranking each vice president by creepiness, with Joe Biden now just beating out Dick Cheney's snarl.
Cheney, as per usual, is upset. Biden and his predecessor have planned a hunting trip for this weekend. Oh, crap. Oh, no, don't do it, Joe. It's a trap. Ugh. In other news, the University of California student body passed a motion to separate entirely from the United States. As to whether or not an earthquake would have to happen in order to complete the process was not mentioned. Mother Nature seems uncooperative, as do the UC residents.
Well, I mean, yeah, all the money would dry up. Come to think of it, it would kind of match the rest of the state.
Was that supposed to be a crappy drought joke? Because you've accomplished it.
Well, it's not a joke when the Russians can control the weather. I mean, even the CIA thinks so. And they've been calling scientists to figure out if it's possible. They attempted it in Vietnam.
And we all know how that ended up. Another entry in the Lost Causes file, a Florida preacher is attempting to convert robots to Christianity.
This is, of course, after prominent scientist Stephen Hawking and entrepreneur Elon Musk signed a pledge joining forces against the tide of harmful AI. As to how they'll reconcile the Prime Directive with religious fervor, we don't know. Historians are reportedly eager to see if robots engage in biowarfare during their crusades.
In local news, the MSU Vagina Monologues will be performing February 27th and 28th at the Wharton Center. Not only do the profits go to charity, let's be honest, the monologues will be the closest you get to a vagina for a while. Lastly, if you're just not feeling it after Valentine's Day anymore, rest assured, you are not alone. And no, this isn't an erectile dysfunction ad. The Washington Monument in D.C. has been resurveyed, coming in about 10 inches shorter.
Experts claim the shortfall is from new measurement techniques made possible from new developments in technology. It hasn't really shrunk, they maintain, they just see it from a different perspective.
But it's pretty clear that it's even less of a big deal than it was before. Who cares? The 87th Academy Awards are this Sunday, and we here at the Beaumont Bulletin want to make sure that you are fully prepared. For that, we brought in Hollywood film expert Oscar A. Ward. Welcome to the show, Oscar.
Yeah. It's not like I had a choice. Somebody's got to bring some class to this operation.
Now, there were a lot of interesting movies that came out this year. Which one was your favorite?
Well, I have to disagree with you, Brian. The movies this year were terrible. It's an utter disgrace that my favorite and the clear-cut best film, Foxcatcher, was not nominated for Best Picture. There was such great attention to detail, especially Steve Carell's nose. They were so careful with the detail. No overkill at all. Except, of course, the murders committed by Steve Carell's character.
Well, I really liked The Imitation Game.
Of course you did. It's so relatable to your life. Sitting here like you're the anchor. The only imitation game you're playing is trying to be Leo. What are you laughing at, Four Eyes? You've got nothing to be proud of.
Okay. Let's move on. Richard Linklater's Boyhood has received a lot of praise since its release, and it's been nominated for 6 Academy Awards. What's your take on this innovative film?
I think it's a waste of time. I sat in the theater watching that crap and thought to myself, wow, look at all this oxygen we're squandering, allowing these people to waste their breaths. Meanwhile, 6 children's grandparents are running out of oxygen in their tanks and have basically reached the old Yeller stage of life.
That's a little dramatic, don't you think?
I'm sure that's exactly what Dick Linklater and his motley crew of morons said when they were writing this shit. When I left the theater, I immediately walked up to the security guard and asked him when American Sniper came out. Because, to be completely honest, the only thing I wanted after watching that crap was for Bradley Cooper to ruin some other kid's boyhood overseas.
That is incredibly offensive.
You know what else is really offensive, Katie?
Let me guess, my anchoring abilities?
No, why would you say that? But I guess now I can say your self-confidence could use some work.
Zing.
What's really offensive is that one measly nomination was given to the Lego Movie for the song Everything is Awesome. But everything isn't awesome because it was snubbed for Best Picture by Whiplash. The only whiplash I experienced with that film was from when I purposely drove into a lamppost on 496 after hearing it beat out the Legos. Never thought I'd see the day when Legos were outperformed by people. But I have, so I'm a changed man. That's why I kicked my wife out of the house and burned my kids' birth certificates. They're now Legos, so to hell with those worthless
Okay. I think that's all the time we've got. Thanks for coming in, Oscar. Hopefully you'll enjoy watching the Oscars more than you did talking about them.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter @BoBulletin and tune in next time for more news.